Two players. In a Grumpcade.
Hey. Hello. Welcome back.
Ross is really grumpy right now.
I'm really
So
tired.
let's just be really quiet. This mic's really low.
I'm really tired, and Barry, I was like, Barry, I want to take a break. And Barry's like, no,
I'm like,
Ross.
fuck you, Ross. We're doing Pokemon. The people asked for Pokemon, and we give the people what the people want. I'm referring to everyone as if they're one thing. Collective.
The collective mind
Jirachi
is the Borg
is a mythical
mind, Borg
Pokemon.
Hive, the Zerg.
There he is, floating through the cosmos. A cosmic being. With a fish head. It's said that when Jirachi awakens, it's a wish.
I wish I was dead.
And Jirachi says, your wish is granted! And then it Avada Kedavra's your ass, and you're dead!
It's like, the kid just said, I wish I was a better artist. You should be like, I said wishes, not miracles.
He's not a Jesus or anything.
Mega Man!
Paintbrush. Didn't we already have the paintbrush?
I thought so too.
I just said paint blush. Excuse me, I misspoke. We'll paint the yellow part of Jirachi's
Okay,
head.
oh
Looks like a
fuck you.
headdress. Alright. Okay. Oh, wow. Look
Looks
at
like
that.
fucking Peridot.
It does.
Crystal clods or
Oh,
whatever.
you gems! I'll get you next time. And then she flies off into space. Alright, you're just doing a big old triangle. I can appreciate that. Are you actually just making Peridot now?
I don't know. I
actually-
can't remember how to draw Peridot,
I can pull
honestly.
up reference, but
You could, but I don't care.
alright. You're oh. Interesting. Interesting approach.
Done.
Done.
She has like
Next
hair
step.
there, hair there.
We got art to make. Chop chop. Hey.
Chop. I don't care. I don't care.
That's
Kill me
right.
now.
You don't control me, Professor Oak. We was like great at painting the head and body.
You're not my dad. Stop it! I know how to draw!
Don't yell at the professor. He worked very hard to get to where he is in his life. You need to respect his authority in these matters. That's real nice. It's looking real nice. You're just drawing like a little space baby with little dangles.
I honestly think if I put my stomach to the microphone, you would hear the diarrhea in my stomach right now.
We could do that.
I don't know if that would work.
Is it diarrhea in your stomach? I think it becomes diarrhea in the intestines.
Oh, well, it's like all grumbly and gross. Oh, it feels awful. I feel like
You should,
death.
like, drink water. You want any
I
couch water?
did. I tried to have some calming tea to fall back asleep when I woke up too early, and it just gave me more diarrhea.
Well, you need to drink lots of water. Because,
What do you think tea is? It's tea, water with leaves.
Well, tea has stuff in it that's not water. The actual tea has chemicals in it and stuff, which, I don't know. I'm not, as I said, I can't say it enough times, I'm not a science. But when you have diarrhea, you get really dehydrated because you're shitting out all your water.
You're not a doctor. Stop
not a
acting
doctor.
like you're a doctor.
I'm not acting like it. I'm just telling you what I know from experience, which is that you get fucking dehydrated and you get crazy headaches from diarrhea all day. So you need to drink lots of water. It's important. And you're probably just flushed out of your system. You just gotta keep throwing back water. But there's probably such thing as too much water, so as I said, I'm not a science. Go to your local science doctor, man. And tell him I'm shitting buckets, and how do I stop?
Oh my god, I hate these new brushes.
Yeah, it kind of sucks they lock you into it, but I guess they are forcing you to learn techniques. And if you were doing whatever the hell you wanted. I don't know. There's probably a way they could have done both. Because, excuse me, in the current system, you know, they're assuming you're just gonna go along with the plan, because why the fuck wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you draw what they're telling you to draw? It's a lesson. If we wanted to do free draw, we could just do free draw. But what we're doing, we just want access to all the tools, so it'd be nice if they gave us that ability. Are you drawing Peridot?
I don't know anymore.
You want me to look up Peridot?
Yes!
Okay. I'm sorry your stomach is grumbly, but you don't have to be grumbly too.
I'm sorry, I'm just feeling like crap.
It's okay, you smell like crap too.
It's probably because I keep farting.
It's probably because you're made of diarrhea at the moment. Peridot. It's probably just gonna be pictures of the gem.
No, it won't, because the internet is.
It's actually just pictures of the
Yeah!
gem.
Wait, no? Really?
It's actually just pictures of Jules.
Oh, that sucks.
I bet if you just scroll, you'll find her.
Oh, come on, man.
It's the problem with naming your shit after stuff that exists already. It's not very good SEO.
There you go.
Did you find her?
Steven Universe.
There you go. Now you're doing it. Now you're thinking with portals.
Wow, I really fucked up. This looks nothing like her.
Good. Just work with what you got. Chop chop. We got lots of art to make.
Okay.
We ain't gonna make this.
I think my
farty
problem
academy.
is that everything's the wrong color.
Well, gotta work with what you got.
Like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Yep. Our Peridot is just these colors.
Yeah, this is my Peridot. Fuck you. Fuck you. If you have a problem with it, fuck you. Go back.
I was talking to some peeps about Steven Universe not long ago.
Yeah, I was too, and they said they hated it.
Yeah, well, no.
And I was like, cool, man.
No, well, I don't hate Steven Universe.
You're entitled to your opinions.
I quite enjoy Steven
I
Universe.
like it. I think it's a good show.
I think it was Corey.
Yeah, Corey hates it. He thinks Steven's annoying.
Well, yeah, that's he's like, it's interesting. There's stuff that's going on that's fun. The art is amazing. The colors are amazing. He agreed on all those points. But he was like, Steven's really obnoxious and he fucks things up and then puts a lot of people in danger, and that makes him very unlikable. Where he's compared to Clarence, which also is about a young kid who is. You can argue that Clarence is an annoying kid, but he's endearing for whatever reason, and I think part of it is that the stakes are so much lower. With Clarence, it's like, it's just a day in the life for a kid, and he's just being a kid. Where Steven Universe is like, I'm just a kid being a kid.
But
oh
there's
shit,
an
my
intergalactic
friends are gonna
conflict.
die. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like this huge stakes that are way outside of his normal bounds. So him being a doofy little kid can be frustrating for a viewer, because it's like, oh, just get your shit together, grow up. Whereas when Clarence fucks up, it's like, yay, Clarence is a kid. I thought that was an interesting
I
point.
still haven't watched Clarence yet. I need to.
Clarence is really fun. Watching
Yeah, I've
Clarence
heard that.
actually reminds me of being a kid again.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's cool.
They're somehow able to tap into kid logic in a very organic way, where you're watching and you're like, of course, that makes zero sense, and in that way it makes perfect sense. It's just, I don't know, it's a good time. It's neat. I enjoy it. We're in another golden age of cartoons. I know you've talked about that.
I would agree with that. I feel like a lot of people have been like, "My cartoons were so good back in the day," and I'm like,
yeah,
they
90s cartoons were great. And the cartoons now are great too. There was kind of a middle period where things weren't that great. There was still good stuff, but
You know what? Actually, I read into this and I lost your phone.
it
Unlocks automatically.
Yeah.
It's called survival bias.
Survival bias.
Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So, okay. So when we think of music from like the 80s and stuff, we're like, man, music in the 80s was so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a second.
Well, first of all, it's false.
Well, let's just say
A
that.
lot of music in the 80s was garbage, like every decade.
All right. Well, let's hear
I'm
me
a
out.
cynical asshole, and I'm entitled to be a jerk.
No, well, just hear me out for a second.
Okay, go
So
on.
the idea of survival bias is like, okay, let's just use video games, for example. Everyone's like, man, video games are so fucking good in the early 80s, right? Or like in the late 80s.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So
Pre-Crash is probably not the best example to use.
right. Okay. So think of that for a second.
Yeah. Well, it's true of a lot of things. Just things were better back then.
Okay.
I've heard of it as just kind of the rose-tinted glasses theory.
Well, yeah, it's the same kind of
don't know if it's
thing.
the name
It's
of
the
the
same
thing.
kind of thing, right?
So
So
like, I'll get you next time. Wagging her
so
little
long,
stub
Crystal
fist.
Clods, and then she's like out. She's out. I don't know, man. I don't fucking
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
And then she's
Just
like,
going into space.
okay, sorry. So survival bias
Yeah.
is the idea that you think that everything back then was really good, right?
And that things now suck. I
Yeah.
imagine that's part of
Well,
it.
the reason being is that
Did you even know this?
people are like in the future
Hmm?
will remember the 2000s as being like, or the noughties, or whatever the fucking people want to
No,
call them.
I really don't want to call them the naughties.
Whatever, as being like really, really fucking good, right?
Sure.
You know why?
Why?
Because no one's gonna remember the bad stuff. So if you go back to the 80s, no one remembers the shit that sucked. Because it didn't make it past the like, it didn't make it into like mainstream like pop
Well,
culture
see,
and stuff.
I think that's it. It's not that people don't remember the bad stuff, it's that people celebrate the good stuff.
Exactly.
And the good stuff comes to define that era.
Yeah, right.
There's plenty of shit that happened in the 80s besides the music we associate with 80s music. What, like,
And
punk
games.
music had a huge rise, metal music had a big rise in the 80s. But we associate with the kind of like early synth kind of sounds, the pop rock of the day. Because that's what was very popular at the time, and
Right.
that's just what we associate with that time period. But people, at least in day-to-day life, I mean, we've gotten into this in kind of studying the way that negative comments on the internet affect people.
Mm-hmm.
Just the psychology behind reading 100 positive comments and one negative one. The negative one will stand out to you. Because
That's
our
true.
brains are attuned to finding negative feedback. Because that's a survival mechanism. If you're, eating
That's
delicious berries in the forest and you eat one that's poisonous, you're gonna fucking remember the one that's bad for you.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's interesting then that in reflecting on past events in your life or in the life of the zeitgeist, I feel like I'm writing a paper, that we're more attuned to remembering the good stuff. Because there was plenty of bad shit, but why would you focus on that? You know, there's plenty of bad music in the 80s and 90s, but instead we focus on the stuff that we've kind of agreed is good and nostalgic and is fun to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I mean, right? Like,
Because people are like, yeah, remember that awesome cartoon from the 90s? People aren't gonna be like, remember
Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters, the one that nobody liked?
I had a lunchbox of the animated the animated Ghostbusters show.
Did you know?
I had a
Did you
lunchbox.
know? Like, Dan told me that the reason that the animated Ghostbusters show was called the real Ghostbusters because there was already a show called Ghostbusters, which wasn't really Ghostbusters.
There was an unrelated Ghostbusters show called Ghostbusters?
Yeah, and it wasn't Ghostbusters.
Why didn't they just call it Ghostbusters Animated, or...
Well, that's the show that came out was called the real Ghostbusters, the animated show that was actually the real franchise. Was because
they were showing off that it was the actual...
Yes, yeah. They're like, yeah, this show's the real Ghostbusters. Fuck you. Like, that's literally the reason that exists.
That's so petty.
I know, isn't
I love it? Yeah, that never made any sense.
But it's so funny because I literally said that. I was at a cafe and I just said to Dan, I'm like, why is it called the real Ghostbusters? And he's like, yeah, it's because the name was being used by someone else and everyone was pissed about it, so they called it the real Ghostbusters. I'm like, fuck off, no they didn't. He's like, I'm serious, and I'm like, oh my god, and we looked it up. He was telling the truth. He's actually telling the truth.
I totally took it for granted that it was called the real Ghostbusters.
You don't think about it.
No, it was just that's what it's called.
I was like, that's what it's called. But
I saw that show before I ever saw the movie.
Really?
There were a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s that got cartoon spin-offs that I watched the TV series of before I ever saw the movie.
So funny how many R-rated movies had like toy lines and like stuff back then.
Oh, like it's not R-rated, but the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like it's all about Beetlejuice and what's her name, Winona Ryder, just like hanging out, having fun, and going on adventures. The movie is totally fucked up. Because Beetlejuice tries to forcibly marry her, and she's like, I don't want to do this, and then is able to kind of push him away. And the cartoon's like, no, they're best buds, having a good supernatural adventure.
They have a supernatural adventure, fun time. I mean, that was like, what, the 80s?
But again, I saw that show before I ever saw Beetlejuice, the actual movie.
Yeah.
So my introduction to all these characters was in a really roundabout way. Because, I don't know, Beetlejuice arguably isn't a kid's movie.
Yeah.
There's some messed up stuff.
There was like Starship Troopers action figures. Holly has a few of them.
Yeah.
Hunted them down, and like
awesome design in that movie. And then you watch it as a kid, and you're like, I'm traumatized.
Yeah, this was not a good idea.
Explosions and tits everywhere, and whoa.
I don't know. The tits didn't really didn't really give me a problem as a kid. I was just like,
jokes.
Don't let mom and dad walk in.
Yeah, you're right.
This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love sci-fi. Mm.
No, mama, just like the action sequences. Can we watch that shower scene again?
Can we just skip ahead to 1 hour and 20 minutes in?
Yeah, I know.
No reason.
I know the timestamp. Could you leave the room?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Don't come into my. I got a computer in here, all right?
I was reading. So you've seen Beetlejuice, right?
I think so. I haven't. If I have, I haven't seen it in a really fucking long time.
Okay, fair enough. But it basically ends.
Actually, you know what?
I'm inclined to just say spoilers in case you haven't seen Beetlejuice, but it doesn't really have any implication on the plot. But at the end of the movie, Beetlejuice is in a waiting room, and he's waiting for his number to be called, and it's like 1 billion in the future. It's just like, oh, he's gonna be waiting a long time. And people were saying, well, what if there was a Beetlejuice sequel, and it started with his number being called, like all these years later, and it's been real time, and Michael Keaton's that much older? I just thought that was a clever idea.
Oh, that would be cool.
Because then it actually bridges that gap. Because I like when they make a sequel years after the fact, and there's a reason for the actors to be older. I always really enjoy when there's like an in-universe explanation for that kind of stuff. And I was like, that is a very fun idea.
Keaton still do movies though?
He just did Birdman.
I haven't seen that yet. He's in that?
Yeah, he's Birdman.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No one told me.
He's Man-Bird.
Oh, that's so cool.
Also, he's been in a bunch of stuff recently.
I have not been keeping up with Michael Keaton.
He was in Batman in 1990.
Yeah, see?
I don't know. I feel like he did some stuff that I was like, oh, that was Michael Keaton. I don't know. You never expect Michael Keaton. So, I'm really enjoying your chibi Peridot.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
I was gonna say something, but then I just realized I can't say that.
Was it a spoiler?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. No.
Anyway, moving on.
I mean, I guess Peridot is in and of herself a spoiler, because she's not in the first chunk of Steven Universe, but... Whatever. If you
Oh,
haven't
that's
watched
true.
Steven Universe, give it a watch. Give it a like. Give it a poke.
Give it a comment, give it a subscribe, tell Rebecca Sugar, tweet at Rebecca Sugar to say,
You're sweet as sugar.
Rebecca Sugar. You know what? I met Rebecca Sugar in an airport once. She was
Really?
sitting with another artist that I like, and it was just
Cool.
they were on the way back from MagFest, and so were we. And I walked up to her, and then I didn't have anything to say because I wasn't watching Steven Universe at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But now if I met her, I'd be like, I really like your show.
Yeah, you could have been like, I like your Adventure Time boards. Like, what
Yeah.
would you have said?
Yeah.
you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did.
Like, I'm also I'm a big fan of Ian Jones Cordy. I think that's his last name. It's like Cordy Quarterly some. That man's crazy talented. He works on
Oh.
Steven Universe. He's the voice of Wallow and Bravest Warriors.
Yeah. Oh, he was
he's done a bunch of
he was
stuff
the guy. He was at the
Oh, that was
with
him.
her. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's done a bunch of stuff with Penn Ward.
Yeah, there
that's
was
really funny.
there was a one he did. He's done a lot of animations that I really like.
Yeah, well, he did a bunch of things with Penn Ward. That was like the two of them improving and they animated it.
Yeah.
Almost like the stuff that Chris and Zach have done with Improbable. Kind of gave me that vibe. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. I think you're running out of room. Oh, you're just so long, clods. Hey, that's offensive to dirt. Oh, she's not very excited about it. It's not an exclamation mark. It's just so long, clods.
There we go. Done. Steven Universe.
Are you gonna give her some action lines?
No.
Because they're giving her little squiggles. Inside the blue-green notes.
Shut up, Pokemon. I don't care.
I like how this series has just turned into, hey, let's draw, characters from animation in the style of Pokemon.
I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
It's a beautiful drawing of Peridot. You gotta give her the tassels. There are 4 opacity settings that you had to use.
I
in the last
don't
thing.
care. I'm done.
That's how opacity works. You can darken them by
If
going.
I wanted opacity, I'd use Photoshop. When we fucking hunched
Excuse
over
me.
a 3DS.
Wow, I'm really burpy today. Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay. So long, Clods. Oh. You should draw all of the Steven Universe cast in the corner. In the bottom right. Like the entire town. All the people.
All of Beach City.
All of Beach City. Just draw Mayor Dewey.
Mayor Dewey, Mayor Dewey.
I like his son. He's like the coolest character.
Yeah, he's really cool. It's amazing how some of the like characters that you know about, like you don't realize they're related.
Yeah, a lot of, well, it's
Like
such
one
a
of the
small
cool
town.
kids is Onion's older brother.
Yep.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know Onion's in the new opening?
Is he?
Yeah, okay, you know when like the car drives past and then Connie turns and runs with the sword?
Yeah.
Look at the top of the building. It's just
Is he up
Onion
there?
like peeking over the building. I'm like, oh my god, he's in the.
Onion's so cool.
Yeah.
I love everything about Onion. It's he's that kind of character that I feel like they need to strike a really careful balance with. He's like that show Zoidberg, where Zoidberg's amazing, everyone loves Zoidberg, but then as soon as you give Zoidberg his own episode, it's like, eh. And I feel like,
You know Futurama?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that kind of a character that's like they're good for the kind of Canadian cross, just sort of like the walk-on gag, walk-off.
Look how much painting, like
They want
they
you to
want
do.
me to do.
Yeah, and you're just like, I'm good.
just don't care. I want to go poop. I really just want to go poop.
So I don't know. They've done a couple episodes that focus a bit more on Onion, and it's like, I don't know. It's a dangerous game, but so far it's been working.
Oh yeah, it is.
Because the more you give, the more context you give for a character like that, the less mystery there is. And the mystery is what's fun about them. I guess that's not really true of Zoidberg as much. It's just like, it's a character that exists to just be punchlines. It's like they walk on, they're funny, and they leave.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like. Yeah, Zoidberg. There was the episode where he had to go back to his home planet and then like find a mate, and I just like.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not when you have that much of that character.
I'm not sure I really cared about that episode. I was just like,
same.
I like
It's
Zoidberg.
like there were funny jokes, it had an arc, it was a fine episode. Just that character can't support that much plot. They can't take on the role of driving the story forward. So maybe that's why the Onion stuff worked, because Steven was still propelling the story forward. Onion was just there being weird.
I got some squiggles in the corner there, but I couldn't get them.
You can erase them. With the
Whoa! It looks like it's got duck feet. It looks like a duck with like one oblong foot.
What's this Pokemon called? Jericho?
Jericho.
Jericho?
I have no idea.
It does have duck feet. It looks like someone pulled out its foot really far and then released it and like accordioned back into place. Yeah.
So long, Claudes!
She's in the sky. Oh, that's perfect. Why didn't you erase the shit in the corner?
That's a star.
It's a star now.
Light star.
Wow. I love how perfect these backgrounds end up being. Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Good job, Ross. Well, next time on Steven Universe, I don't know, we probably won't see Rose Quartz.
She dead!
She's dead. Next time. Bye-bye. Are you gonna go diarrhea now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go diarrhea now.
Okay.